The Food Love Project is an educational farm designed to inspire kids and their parents and community members to have a love of fresh, local, seasonal, whole foods. Last season, when I wanted to start an educational farm, I started thinking about just what would be a really good place for that. I really wanted a place that was public. I went to the Land Trust with Leo and presented them a proposal to ask if I could farm this piece of land, and they were incredibly enthusiastic about it.
Well, part of the reason why I got into farming is because I have young grandchildren, and as I learn more about farming, I learn more of we're losing the skills and the knowledge, and that's a big part of what we're trying to do is learn the skills again and knowledge and be able to pass those on to the next generation. And I think that's what's kind of got me into thinking about schools and education.
I mean, the reason that I think that this work is so important is because, of things we see all around us. I mean, in this country, there's epidemics of obesity, of kids spending 15 hours a day in front of a screen. And this is an antidote to that. This is a chance for kids to have a connection of where their food comes from. A lot of kids think that the food that they eat only comes from the grocery store. They have no connection that, carrots grow in the ground. And so being able to kind of bridge that gap for them, I think is such important work. We hosted about 800 local school children to come out to the farm and do field trips. They would come in busloads of about 50 at a time, and we would divide them into 5 groups and move them around stations to the farm. So that was harvesting vegetables, taste testing, going on a scavenger hunt, sitting and reflecting, and then we had them threshing beans and planting things. So it kind of depended on what was happening within the season, but they kind of got a tailor-made farm educational experience, which was really fun. So the garden was designed in a way where the students would walk through the tomato tunnel to get to the teepee, which had hanging gourds from it and beans. And those were some of the things that I thought were just most fun experientially. We tell kids all the time, like, don't touch that, and this garden has been this really amazing place where they get to touch everything and try everything. And I had the kids out who actually planted the tomato tunnel, and they planted it on this kind of cold day in May, and then they came back in September, and they were blown away. They were so excited, just like, I planted this. This was my tomato plant, and it's just that kind of thing that I've seen over and over again. It's kind of ownership of it, which is so cool. I also had a farm stand here this season, and that was really well received by the neighborhood. I also worked with summer camp here on site with the Land Trust, and I've had the Girl Scouts come out, and the Master Gardeners, and the breastfeeding moms, and anybody else who walks through the door, really.
I'm just fed off of the energy that's created in the community when I go out into the community and see children that I've taught, and they come up to me and they engage with me about farming or something that happened related to what they're growing or what they saw or what they learned.
Kids come up and they recognize us, and they're like, oh, that's the farmer, and they get it. That's in their consciousness. That's something that they're like, oh, that's a job that I could have.
If we start to create it at a young age, I think it'll be inside them for the rest of their lives. And I think it's something really important to have inside you because it gives you a feeling of security.
Thinking about how far it's come, I mean, just in the early part, we put up the fence and we trenched the irrigation and just, have built a whole working farm from scratch. And to have served as many kids as we have, and we logged, nearly 1,000 hours of volunteer labor this year, which was unbelievable. And just kind of seeing the community response to it, and also really hearing from people, that have been driving this road for 30 years. Say that they can't believe that something like this has come up so quickly, and how exciting it is for them that this is a part of their neighborhood now. In the course of a season, this whole farm has gone up, and I mean, we had all these school kids out. You can't serve 100 kids in a morning without having a bunch of really committed, beautiful, wonderful volunteers. this is a public space. This is a community place where people can come and really plug in and find a place and get excited. There's a guy who does earth skills education here, primitive skills, and right at the end of the season, his kids made stone tools and cut down my sunflowers and are using the giant sunflower stalks as fiber cord. And it's like, that sort of thing I couldn't have even expected. When I think about the Food Love Project, just the love of food being a great basis to look at the world through. You know, it's a lens. Once you start really loving your food, you start asking where it comes from, who's growing it, are they getting paid a fair wage, what's being put on it, are there chemicals, you know, what's in season. So when you really come to it from a place of love, it opens up this door to think about all sorts of things.